Hello, hello, and welcome to an all new episode of Black Empowerment 365. I am one of your hosts, Kente, all the way live from Los Angeles, California, and I'm here with the wonderful, the beautiful, the talented Kiana Rodriguez. How you doing?
I am wonderful, wonderful. How are you doing?
I'm excellent as well, enjoying a beautiful Friday night here in Los Angeles. And you were telling me earlier that it's nice and rainy where you're at.
I don't know about nice, but it sure is rainy. It's been raining all week, and apparently, I guess we need the rain, but it's May. It's about to be Memorial Day, and pools are about to open. Theme parks are already open. So I would like some sun. I would like some sun.
Pool's about to open. Do you swim?
Do I swim? I thought you said something else. I do. I like swimming. But I haven't been with. I go to the beach. The beaches are closed. You got Myrtle Beach, and you got Bike Week. It's supposed to be next week down in Myrtle Beach. I don't know if you West Coast people know what Bike Week is. But the people here on the East Coast know what Bike Week is.
So you got your bike? Do you go represent on your bike?
I went last year with my aunt, and it was crazy. I ended up running into a guy that I know that I used to work with, and I just heard his voice. And he has a very nice motorcycle. He calls it Bumblebee, and it looks just like Bumblebee from Transformers. So it's really cool. And I'm not a motorcycle rider, but it's so nice what they're doing with the motorcycles and seeing. So Bike Week, there's a crazy side of Bike Week, but then it's nice to see all the bikes, right? And then when you're driving up and down the coast, you see, all kinds of bikes. It's amazing. And you can hear it. It's just amazing. It's an amazing experience. So I suggest, yes, the traffic is bad, but I stayed at North Myrtle Beach instead of actually on Myrtle Beach. I went to North Myrtle Beach, and guess what? The bikers are still up there too. So you're not in the chaos, and you can still have fun. I'm just saying. I had fun.
It sounds like it can be fun. It sounds like it can be a little too much fun. It seems like
it's not kid friendly. Mm-hmm. It might not even be adult friendly sometimes. It's an experience, and I'm just saying.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know. One day I gotta get down to Bike Week and see what y'all do down there.
Oh yes, you gotta come over Memorial Day weekend. It's great, it's having fun. So,
well, today's show is a first for us. Normally we have a guest, but this week we're going to do something a little different, and we're going to have a topic. So what we're going to do is have an open forum. So if anybody wants to come and join the conversation at any point, they can. But today's topic is entrepreneur or employee. So I am going to hand the mic over to Kiana, and she's going to give some background on what this topic is, and we're just going to have our conversation.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, when Kente brought this up to me, I thought it was a great idea to kind of talk about careers, because as I said before, that one of the biggest things here on social media, whether it's Periscope, Twitter, Blab, we're just constantly bombarded with entrepreneur. This is how you get this, and this is how you get that. Entrepreneur. Make your own money. Don't make somebody else rich. And there's so much thrown at us as far as being an entrepreneur. But of course, the majority of people are employees, and so with that, with having work week and everything, so many people are miserable. And so I really want to go over a couple of things, about the difference between entrepreneur or, entrepreneurship versus employee. Okay. Mm-hmm. And really, Kente, like you said, wanting to talk more about employees, not downplaying your contribution, and really talk a little bit further about the importance of being an employee. It's extremely important. And so I really want to start out and speak about work ethics. And like I said, this is just like very relaxed. It's not formal. I want open dialogue. People can jump in, join the conversation. But I do have a couple of links that I found that I would love to share, which is really funny. Okay, so tell me if you guys can relate to this. Okay, so it says drop the link. I'm going to drop the link and see if it plays, right?
Okay.
Oh,
I think I might have accidentally deleted it. I thought I had done something. All right.
No, you.
Unmute.
Okay. I wanted to show that because Kente, listen, you are an entrepreneur. You don't work for anybody. So you have to understand the frustration of what people go through day in and day out. I understand the frustration of what you deal with. Yes, so you understand. And this is why I showed that video. Everything that she spoke about is extremely true. You got people, yes, and it's BS. You got people standing, cross-checking and looking for what you're doing, how you're doing it, why you're doing it, and you don't report to them. Why, right? Why are they doing this, right? And so welcome, LaShonda. So glad you made it. And welcome, Curtis. Everybody here. Thank you for being here. Mm-hmm. So they're trying to solidify their position, right? And so day in and day out, people deal with this type of issue. So I really want to start out with speaking about our work ethic, okay? When we have entrepreneur employees, people feel like, oh, because you deal with stuff like that, I'm just going to go out and start my own company. I'm going to start my own business. Okay, this is fine. I'm not trying to downplay entrepreneurship. I'm an entrepreneur. I'm a working entrepreneur, okay? And so I'm not downplaying that. But if you have noticed, like I said, Kente, before, if you have noticed from all our guests that has transitioned from being an employee to an entrepreneur, their work ethic was stellar. Mm-hmm. Their work ethic was through the roof. If you did not understand last week, Mr. Gerald DeBose, work ethic was crazy serious, to the point where his boss, supervisor, come and pull him over. Why are you getting this override? Then you have Ava Laura. She used to work in toxic work environments, but her work ethic never, ever changed. It is so important when you go to work, you give your all, because if you allow all this stuff that goes on with the co-workers, all the toxic work environments, all that stuff that is really getting under your skin, if you allow that to change your work ethics, you're going to start developing bad habits. Right. Okay. And these bad habits will start translating. If you start a business, cross over into your business as well.
Right. Actually, I can relate to all of that stuff because, I've been a working entrepreneur many times. So I definitely can feel what she's saying. And, I think a lot of that, what she's saying in the video, comes because I think someone said in the chat, people trying to solidify their position. And also, too, it's like this, if I tell on you, it's going to make my situation better. And, they may welcome that information, but then the person you telling, they're going to be looking at you kind of strange as well, too. Because, even people you tell don't like tattletales, you know what I'm saying? So, So a lot of people, and then a lot of times people just so focused on what other people doing. You know, like I don't worry about what other people are doing. I worry about what I'm doing. And if I can only control what it is that I'm doing. I can't control what the next person's doing. So if I just worry about me and what I'm doing and I'm doing right, then you know what? It's going to be okay. You know, in the end, it's going to be okay. So, but you know, as we were saying, this kind of stuff goes on quite a bit, and some people are on one end, other people are on the other end. So I guess let's talk to the people that are on the getting told on the end of it, and you know, and what can you tell? What can you say to people about you know, because it may affect their work ethic because they internalize what maybe the next person is doing to them on their job. So what would you suggest?
If you're saying if they're being told on?
Yeah, if they and that kind of stuff is going on in their office or whatever that they work at.
I would definitely recommend individuals to have a very great communication with their supervisor, because when you speak with your supervisor and ask them how is your work performance, constantly get updated about how you're doing, what you can improve on, what changes you can make, what are you doing well, and is there any additional work that needs to be done, different things like that. Just have that open communication with directly your supervisor, because people are going to tell. And in a matter of fact, if you constantly get and receive positive feedback from your supervisor, and this person is going to tell, that's going to reflect back on them, not on you, because you're doing your job. You're focused, like you said, Kente, focused on what you need to do. Oh gosh, what's she saying? And that is basically what I suggest. Is definitely have a close and great communication with your supervisor.
Now, LaShonda says in our chat, sometimes the supervisor or manager is just as bad as the employee. They create the divide and conquer effect. And if you were here last week, you know why I said her name like that. But that is true. There is sometimes this thought, I used to work for the Los Angeles Times newspaper in the subscriptions department, and they had all of us competing with each other as far as who got the most subscriptions, and it became really cutthroat. And it was the way that the supervisor wanted it. He wanted this survivor like atmosphere where it wasn't a team. It was more of a bunch of people they just threw into an arena, and we just duked it out to see who was going to be on top. And he really believed that was something that would, create what he wanted, which was a lot of sales. But, even when you were really successful, being in that situation, it was very draining, So yeah, I was the top salesperson for a long time, but my end of my day, man, I was mentally drained from all of the, all that you had to do to do it.
So with that being said, another thing is really learn what you're getting yourself into. Okay. Mm-hmm. What type of environment, and you can ask people like, oh yes. Nikki's still here. So, Nikki is here in the same area I'm in. So you have the banking industry, you have medical, and there's some corporate offices here. And so let's just go with banking. So banking is just up and down. They'll get a group of people, and then they lay people off, and then they bring people in and they lay people off. And it's just up and down. So you can ask people around, because there's been people that go from Bank of America to Ally over to Wells Fargo, and they're hopping around the city, this and that. And so everybody's working for all these different banks. You can ask them, so, hey, how was it over there at Bank of America? How was it over there at Citibank? How is it over there? You know, but LaShonda brings up a good point. Management is definitely an issue.
Mm-hmm.
It's an issue on multiple levels. It's an issue in so many businesses. Okay. So one of the biggest things that I highly suggest anyone to do, because you can't choose, once you're in that job, you can't like choose your manager. I don't want to work for you because that's not how it goes, right? But really, really understand, and even before you get a job, okay, understand what the company is about. What does it represent? What is their end goal? Where were they? Where are they going? How are they getting there? You know what I mean? What is this company about? That can kind of give you an idea. And the biggest problem that I see is that people do not even know what the vision of the company is. Okay? So you're just going to work, you're mad, you don't want to be there. Your supervisor's getting on your nerves, co-workers, like we noticed the co-workers down your throat and everything. But where are you going? What is the importance of your job, right?
Mm-hmm.
Why is your job significant?
Mm-hmm.
I don't think people even think, I don't think people even think about that. Most folks don't care, right? Okay, so this goes back to entrepreneurship and employees. So if you're just working to get a paycheck, right? You don't even know what you're working for, and you don't have the vision or why this company is running. I know this big thing that says you're making somebody else rich. Okay, but if you don't even know why you're working, how are you going to fully be able to visualize and set into place your own vision and really drive and have that drive for your own vision? You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Nikki says, I've only worked for companies that I agreed with their vision.
There you go, Nikki.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think it's very important once you get to any company or wherever you work for to really, as you say, understand what their vision, their goals are, but also understand what it is that you actually do and how you fit into what the company's doing. I think it's important to understand your value that you bring to whatever company, and then understand what is expected of yourself, and and how to meet those standards. And also too is to understand what your job requirements are, because a lot of people don't really know. Like, you'll ask somebody and they'll be like, I don't know, and you really want to, if they got a company handbook, you want to look through that thing and see what it is that they can have you do and what they can't have you do. And you definitely want to know what your rights are as well when it comes to working for a company or any kind of business. And I think those things are very important. I think one of the problems is that, me personally, I was fortunate because I came from a family that prepared me to go into the workspace. But I think a lot of people don't get that. They really don't. They graduate from high school, and I don't know that a lot of people are getting, older people telling them, how you should act on a job. Just giving you the behind the scenes of how to act when you're working. And I think a lot of people suffer from that. So, and I know a lot of what you do too is you get people prepared, right, to go into the work environment as well as exist while they're there. So what are some of the things that you come across from people who are looking to, to get a job as well as once they're there?
That is a good question. Okay, so one, their biggest thing that I see in my clients is that they're allowing all this negativity. They're allowing all this frustration to really block where they're going, what they want to do. right? And so in essence, when they are allowing all this frustration to block what they want to do, they start making moves that aren't really in their best interest. And once again, like I said, if you think that you're just going to go to another job and everything will be peachy and you're still working, your work ethic is still the same, it's not going to change, because politics and from company to company is kind of across the board, depending on the company, right? But if you don't change yourself and your work ethics and how you go about and deal with these different type of frustrations, then it's going to remain the same. Okay, so welcome. Is it T-Way? Welcome, Lawrence as well. I think T-Way left. So that is one of the biggest things that I see. And like, for example, with my students, like I taught today. Okay, so one thing that I see with my students is, and they're adults, so it's this quick, fast pace. You know, I'm gonna get there. You know, I'm not working hard, trying to go through the whole process. You know, trying to find shortcuts and this and that, and not properly networking. Networking is extremely important. That is one thing that I see as well. That is a huge issue. But personally, like I said, I think that is really what Happy Work Week. I want to help people block, just remove all of that frustration so that they can finally see clearly what they want to do, right? What's so funny? What is LaShonda doing? Is she acting up? What are they saying?
Yeah, I don't know. She said, "Ho Kente." I'm like, wow, I'm a hoe now. I think she meant hi. I'm hoping that's what she meant, because the I is next to the O on the keyboard.
Yeah, she says hi, typo. Oh my gosh. But she says our youth need in high school internship and vocational schools. Yes, I agree. And there's some schools that, like I know in Jersey, that they provide schools like that, but I don't think it's in every state. When I was teaching at a high school in Jersey, I remember they have one there. I don't know if they have them here in North Carolina. My kids are still in elementary school, but the school that I work at is a tech school, so it's very specific to a industry. Mm-hmm. So yeah, that is the two biggest things that I see. And I think, really not allowing, I know it sounds like difficult, and like I said, it's a process. Going through this process of not allowing these frustrations to really dictate your actions and dictate your whole entire life. I mean, if you think about it, as an employee, you're working. Even as an entrepreneur, you're working the majority of the time, right? So you want to make sure that you are doing the best, where you're waking up, you're really preparing yourself for the day, and you're really getting your mind ready, set, and you're going into it with positivity. When you wake up, like I said, if I had show you another video with EJ, it's hilarious. Like she says, this is you from Monday through Thursday, and you're just like, you don't want to get up, you don't want to get out of bed, but Friday you're like, right? You're ready to go because it's Friday, it's the weekend, and that's how people operate. That is not living, right? So we have it set in our mind that as an employee, that this is how it is, this is how it will be. But it doesn't have to be that way. And there's ways that you could really, really begin to live again and enjoy your life, even in a job that you hate. I'm telling you the truth. So, on a serious note, and with a sincere heart, everyone needs to follow. Oh, thank you, LaShonda.
Yeah, everyone needs to follow Kiana at Happy Work Week. She helped me change my mindset, and it landed me to a promotion. That's right.
Yes.
I love it, though. I love it.
She did. LaShonda, she hated her job. I met LaShonda on Periscope, and oh, you're still really, girl, you in the same city? I hope you accepted. I tried to add you on Twitter, but we need to speak, okay? So what I did was on Periscope was the work week challenge, and LaShonda, she was fully engaged. That's what I'm saying. If you have certain things, you have to be fully engaged and ready to go. And she did the work. She did each week the work week challenge, and she was serious about it because she hated her job. It was such a toxic work environment. I mean, it was just, she was stuck. It was just so much. So much. And this is what people deal with day in and day out. But that's why I try to really hammer down on our work ethic. Our work ethic it has to be stellar. Our work ethic cannot change from employee. And actually, like I said, from an employee, it's even more important to start out with stellar work ethic, because that only translates over to entrepreneurship. Okay, so yes, she did. She hated her job, and the only reason why I'm really focused on this topic and happy work week is because I dealt with it. I was miserable at the last job. I mean, it was awful. It was awful. It was awful. It was awful. And ultimately, I end up losing my job, right? I end up losing my job. I'm a mom, single mom, and I had to figure it out, right? I had to figure it out. But I took from that a lot of lessons from that experience, because I don't feel like my work ethic changed, but I did, oh my gosh, have a complaining spirit. I complained because I said, this is some bull. This is some bull. This is some craziness. So, a lot, it can really transform you into something that you're not. So you could have stellar work ethic, and you can get into an environment like that, and you can allow all that negative energy to penetrate you and become something that you're not. Mm-hmm. Yes, I had a complaining spirit. I really did. And it was just day in and day out. I didn't want to go there. And it wasn't that I hated my job. Yes, what you talk about most, yes, will manifest, and that is exactly it. That's exactly it. So now I can go anywhere. I even told my students today, I said, I don't even care. I don't care. Like, I exude happiness, okay? I exude happiness, and no negativity can penetrate my happiness, because it's a choice. If somebody comes in the room and want to be negative, I will immediately throw out some positivity. And it's something that you have to choose. You have to choose to do something like that. You have to choose to take control of your own space, okay? It's so important for you to do that.
Have you ever seen this from a couple? Oh, I hear it. Hello?
I can hear you.
There we go. Mm-hmm. Have you ever seen this from a couple where one person is totally happy in their work environment, and they're just happy to go to work, and the other person is miserable? They hate it, and all of that stuff. Have you ever seen that before? I've been in a situation where I was the happy one, and the person I was dating was the miserable one. And so, and then, what happens sometimes too is the person will be the person who's miserable actually can become, I don't want to say jealous, but envious of their mates' happiness on their job, while they're kissing each other to go off to work. One is like, zipping out to go to work, and the other one is like, like they're going to the electric chair. What would you suggest if you are the person who's the happy one, and the person, your significant other, is the miserable one.
Okay. This is a good one. Okay. When you're in any type of relationship, it's a partnership, right? And I can speak on this because I've been married, right? But I am divorced, but but it's a partnership, right? So when you are together, when somebody's down, you should lift them up, and you got to find out how to communicate effectively with your significant other, right? So it's so important that if you see that they're having a hard day, when they come home, you want to make sure they're coming home into a positive environment. That's number one. And like I said, I'm going to really constantly talk about positivity because it is so key. It's a choice. You have a choice to be happy. You have a choice to be positive. You can choose how you live. You have that choice. Okay, so definitely you want them to come home into a positive environment. That's one. Okay. Number two, be open to listening. Sometimes they have to vent, right? And then, I'm a coach, so I try not to be too coachy, right?
Right.
But you allow them, to just listen to them. And then after you listen to them, if you guys are close, you have an open, good communication. Let's talk about solutions, because there's one thing coming home and then dumping all that energy on you, right? But nobody's trying to find solutions, right? Okay, so hun, let me see. Have you been applying? Do you want me to look at you? Do you want me to look at some positions that are available? What have you talked to you? So just start brainstorming. Think of some solutions, and thank you, LaShonda. And so you want to, you can sit after you listened and be respectful and listen. I would suggest to come up with solutions, because in the end, you don't want to constantly come home to complaining, right? You that's not good for the home environment. It's not good, just for the relationship, right? You want to be able to come up with some solutions, and that's actually can build and enrich your relationship, because you're coming up with solutions together. That person has your back, you have their back, and you guys are doing it together, and you're lifting each other up. I think that's so important.
Another thing too I faced being in the situation was she talked about the drama and all of the stuff that made her not happy. And then, when you come home, you want to talk about the wins you had, right? So then you feel kind of bad, because that wasn't what happened with me. I had a great time. He was doing it, So then you're like, well, maybe I'll just keep that to myself about what a wonderful time you had, when she's not, or anything like that. So you get to a point where you're like, you feel almost guilty to say, well, today, man, we knocked it out the park, and we're, everything's just rocking and rolling, and all that. And she's looking at you like, I don't want to hear that, because I wasn't rocking and rolling today at my job.
Oh my gosh. Well, I think that is, we should get Coach Tracy in here, the relationship coach, because I am not a professional when it comes to relationships. But I like I said, I've been married, and I know a little thing or two. But one of the things I have to say about that is, whenever you get into the relationship, you got to know, are you open? Like, so if she shouldn't feel a certain type of way. If you had a good day, she should be supportive, and vice versa, right? Mm-hmm. So that's a healthy relationship. So regardless, and actually you having a good day, that energy should be able to translate into your spirit. You see what I'm saying? That's like, oh, okay, babe, that's good. I'm so glad I'm home. I'm so glad that we're here together. Maybe tomorrow will be a better day, right?
Mm-hmm. Right.
Same.
Amen. Now, another thing too that, because we're talking about just being in a work environment, is another controversial thing is workplace relationships. Now, not necessarily always it has to be romantic. It could just be, being friends with the people on your job, spending time with them, off the clock. But then also, too, we can talk about deciding to have a workplace romance, which I think it can be absolutely disastrous to go that route. So I think first let's talk about, non-romantic relationships and how you should govern, how you deal with interpersonal relationships on the job.
Mm-hmm. Well, we kind of talked about this last week, and we kind of hit on a couple of things, but I would have to say that I think, from person to person, when you're working with someone, people connect differently. You know what I'm saying? So where you might be able to jive with one coworker and you work one way, you might be able to joke because you can't joke with everybody, right? And so, right? So where you with Cindy, I might be able to work with Cindy and I can joke with Cindy and we can laugh and we can get things done. But with Charles doesn't joke like that, right? So Charles can't take those jokes, and you'll know immediately who you can and can't joke with. You can know immediately how you can work with one person, how you can work with another. And so with that being said, I think it's case by case, where with Cindy, I can joke. It might seem like an unprofessional relationship. We're not talking about relationship. You might see we're talking about, work relationships in and of itself. Where with me joking with Cindy, we might have some crazy jokes where it might seem unprofessional, but we are getting things done, right? We're amongst ourselves. We're working together, right? But if I did something like that with Charles, he'll probably be running to the supervisor, right? Like we said with Xanadu earlier, right? He'll be running to the supervisor. So you have to understand the work relationships and, how you are really communicating, how you are working together. You have to understand those dynamics and really play it by ear because everyone's different, right?
Right. And also, too, you got to be careful when you start sharing real personal stuff with your coworkers. Like, you don't want to, what's going on with your baby's mama or your baby's daddy, or what's going on, how you used to sell drugs when you were 15. You might better want to be very careful about when you share too much, because people will use anything to get a leg up on you. And yeah, you done gave them the ammo to, to use against you. So you got to be very careful when it comes to sharing personal things. I know we all like to open our mouths and blab, pun intended. So, but you got to be very careful when it comes to sharing your personal stuff, especially with your coworkers.
I think that point right there, and this goes back where I guess people are trying to do or speak about work-life balance, because like when you go to work, you might have been frustrated. Like, so if you remember the situation you just said, your significant other, she's mad and everything, and she might go to work. Oh, Kente, he's always happy. And then she's going to work venting about you. But it's all about really taking control and ownership of your frustration and dealing with it properly so that you don't go into work talking about your personal. You're not coming home just venting and spewing it out on your significant other. You have to learn to manage those things. And I highly suggest, because once you start sharing your personal information at work, people are going to be in your business all the time. And they're going to feel like they have the right to, because you already shared. They want to update. They want to know what's going on. And guess what? Don't start it from the get-go. Do not start sharing. People ask you questions, especially on certain topics at work. I highly recommend not to speak about certain topics at work. Politics, religion, sex. Don't even have those conversations at work. Don't talk about it.
How many times you've been on a job and someone starts out a conversation, well, this is between me and you. So they about to steal somebody else's, secrets. Don't tell nobody. But did you hear about so and so? So if they're doing that to JoJo, they're gonna do it to your butt too.
Yes, they will.
And
once again, I'll hit you with some positivity. What I suggest is somebody come, don't tell anybody, but Cindy over there, she was up in the office with Charles, and you know how that went. So hit them with some positivity. I don't know, but I know that Cindy works hard. I know Charles, they have this big account, or they're working on this big project, and I think they're going to knock it out the park. And then walk away. Just walk away. You don't have to feed into the gossip. Say something positive and walk away. I'm telling you, it will change your life. It will change your life. It will change your life.
Yeah, so and definitely, supervisors and stuff like that, they'll be going around telling everybody how you feel and all of that stuff, because people will use it against you. I've seen cousins use it on each other. I've seen it homies that go to the club with each other every night, throw each other under the bus. So don't give them the ammo to get you on the job. And me personally, going to the romantic aspect of workplace relationships is, most 99% of the time it's a bad idea.
90.999999.
Yeah.
And a 99.
And this is my favorite thing about workplace relationships, like in an office or something. The people involved in the relationship, they think they fooling people. they think no one knows that they're doing whatever they're doing, and then when they find out that everybody knows, they're always shocked. And people don't realize that a lot of times you give away unsaid, like you give away clues. The way you look at a person that you're involved with, it cracks me up. They think because one comes back up to the office on the elevator, another one does on the stairs, that they're fooling somebody. But generally in the office, they all know. Everybody knows everything.
Yes, Kente, he wants to talk about the hot and heavy stuff, the work week. I mean, the workplace romances. Yes, I see what you're saying. I agree with you, Kente. I don't think it's a good idea. Like we said, 99.999.99999. It's no good, right? So I do want to, because it's like almost 10 o'clock, and it's just like,
I know, the time is flying, huh?
It's flying, right? I do want to speak about this thing, and I have this great analogy that I thought of, and maybe you guys will relate. I'm a parent, so I want to talk about what you deserve, right? So a lot of us, we work because we started off with our work ethic, right? And then your work ethic, you might think that you're doing great and everything. You might think you're working hard, and I deserve a raise, right? I deserve benefits. I deserve this. I deserve that, right? But I don't know if we're really taking it all in, right? And I'm going to give you a great analogy, right? Yes, you did. Now, LaShonda, you did. You deserved a raise. You do. But you got a promotion. And you got it, right? So there are a lot of people that do deserve raises. Don't get me wrong. But I give you this analogy. Like when your kids come to you and be like, Mommy, I really, I think, I would love to have XYZ. Can I have that new Hot Wheels set? Or can I have those new whatever thing with Monster High dolls, yeah, Karen, and they want XYZ, and you look, did you clean your room, right? Okay, so yeah, I cleaned my room, but the room is still messy, right? Darn typos, right? So where they thought they did it right? They thought they got it right, yet it's not up to par, right?
Right.
But they feel like they deserve something, right? Mm-hmm. And I can only equate it to that, because one of the things is, it goes back to your work ethic. You want to make sure that you're doing, and you know what you're doing. Like you said, Kente, you know what you're requiring. A lot of people, and I've seen so many people say, that's not in my job description. You know how many people I've heard say that? That's not in my job description. I'm not doing that. And they say it loud.
And be wrong.
Everybody.
A lot of times they be wrong. It'd be in their job description.
So yes, I really want to talk about what you deserve, because, you know, I want us to be realistic about that, because are you really working as hard as you can, right? Because we all know when you're sitting at your desk, you might be daydreaming because you know you're going to get a check, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so yes, Gerald asked, what makes you deserve a raise? That's a good question. What do you think, Kente? What makes you deserve a raise?
I'll say this real quick. I famously always say that if people actually got what they really deserved in life, they'd cry. Most people have unrealistic expectations, and they expect that they're going to get, you know, they have this, you know, I hate when people say I deserve, because very few times they actually deserve what they claim that they deserve or want or whatever. But what makes you deserve a raise? You know, that's kind of tricky, because I think it's based on, you know, obviously what field you're in and what, you know, necessarily you are asked to do. Obviously, time on a job, you know, sometimes when you're just actually on a job for a certain amount of time, you're due a raise. Sometimes that can be something, but also too, I think when you outperform your task at a very high level and you make yourself become invaluable to your job, then that makes you, you know, that can make you deserve a raise. When you add extra value, you know, because to be honest with you, if they can get some monkey to do what you do, you don't deserve nothing. So when you make yourself where you're so valuable to the job, then, you know, and you make yourself into a commodity, then that's when you start deserving a raise.
And, you know, on top of that, I think that was excellent, Kente. You're absolutely right. But another thing that you have to think about is, before you even agreed to taking the job, did you even ask during the interview, you know, is there room for promotion? Or is there room for growth? Like I said, it goes back to you researching the company. Is the company growing? Where is the company going? What is you know, are they expanding? Are they going international? Is there room for you to really be promoted? So where you think that you deserve something, that might not even be on the table from the get-go. So before you even accept the job, if you're looking for growth and this company is not growing, then you might want to reevaluate even accepting a position like that, because then you're just going to be in there and be frustrated unless you're utilizing that position as a platform to move to the next level. Okay, so you have to be very strategic about what you're doing and how you do it. Everything, you know, and like I said, every assignment you're on is so important to do your best at that assignment. Okay, do your best at each location. And even if you feel like I'm just doing this to pay the bills, but guess what? If you do it to the best of your ability, there will be opportunities that open up. I'm telling you, it will.
Now, you said something a little bit earlier, and I feel like we need to touch on it, because this actually helps you get raises or promotions or better jobs. And we're going to use the N word, networking. And so networking is so important. I'll say for myself, a lot of the best opportunities I've ever had in life was because I networked. I network. That's something that I do. I always try to get to know people and make relationships, and, you know, solid relationships that can be beneficial to me down the line or presently. And I think it's very important to get a lay of the land and really understand what the whole field is. So networking is so important because you get information and what they call it ear hustling. You know, a lot of times you go places and sometimes you got to go places and not do a lot of talking, do a lot of listening. Because sometimes people will spill the beans and give you all the information. Maybe they drank a little bit or they got excited and they start telling some. So always have your ears and your eyes open and also get to know people, you know, have conversations with people. You know, once again, be careful with what you share. You know, don't give them the tools to use it against you. But what you want to do is get information and also, you know, let yourself be known. Don't go into a situation and hide in the corner, you know, and it really helps to have a good personality, to have because personality. I mean, I know so many people who's gotten over in life just because people like being around them. They're not that efficient at what they do. They're not, you know, they're not really that good, but they just know how to make people feel good. They know how to work a room, and having that as a skill really can help you going forward. It helps you in a lot of ways. It helps you in, you know, on the job place, at a bar. It helps you in a lot of ways, you know, negotiating for a car, you know.
At the bar, Kente?
It helps you there. Yes, I saw the little short video. I did see that, by the way. And I'm going to make note of that. But definitely networking is important. And, you know, now let me ask you a question. There's networking and then there's brown nosing, right? So what in your mind, what do you think the difference is between someone who's brown nosing? You know, you've ever worked at a job where you felt like this guy is brown nosing, you know, versus, you know, just networking, trying to get the lay of the land and, you know, put yourself out there like that?
Oh, well, I mean, brown nosing is obviously literally just slave. Like you're just all up in whoever is the top dog up their derriere and doing anything you can to try to get to XYZ place, right? That's brown nosing. Networking is being very strategic about what relationships you're building with people and places in order to put yourself in position to be promoted or to excel. So I think there's you know, people might get that confused, but brown nosing is something that is not, I don't think is respected. Right? You can tell immediately when someone's brown nosing. And actually, you know, I don't think it's actually good for the long run. Doing something like that. And I've seen that done. I think all of us have experienced that and seen it done. There was something that you said prior that I wanted to touch base on, and I completely forgot my thought because you asked me that question. No, you're fine. I'll remember it.
Yeah, I'll give an example in this regard about brown nosing and then networking and cultivating a relationship. We'll use Gerald as an example. Gerald is a business owner and he has employees. So if I'm a young man or a woman and I come in to work for Gerald, someone such as Gerald, I'm going to respect him because of his accomplishments, right? And I'm going to want to know, we talked about it, the secret sauce. And I'm going to want to, you know, I'm going to want to pick up things from him, right?
Right.
So now brown nosing him would be, you know, oh man, your tie is really, you know, really great, boss. You know,
that's exactly it.
Yeah, that's brown nosing. Oh man, you know, or you go golfing with him and you throw the game.
And then his golf game is off.
Right. You know, that'd be brown nosing. But asking strategic questions about the field, you know, in which, you know, he's obviously a master at, and getting, you know, valuable information from him as far as, you know, the work, the job, and, you know, trying to get some of that secret sauce, you know, that is the way that kind of sound bad. Pause about that. But No, that's fine. That's you on your game, your hustle game, and you're trying to figure out how to maneuver in the workplace. But overly, oh boss, your tie show looks nice, boss. That kind of stuff.
But one thing that one of my good friends that I grew up with, her dad, I consider him like my dad. He's an amazing person, but he's always said to us that no one is your boss. No one is the boss of you. You might have a supervisor, but no one is the boss of you. And that really kind of helps you with that mindset, saying that you have control over your career. You have control over your life. And so where you might have people supervising you, you might have people in a position that's over you, no one is the boss of you. But I do remember what I was going to say. So I was teaching today, and one of my students, she mentioned, because this is what you said, Kente, was very true. Personality. I want to talk a little bit about personality, because personality is very, very important. And so she was speaking about, we created a hashtag for her. Her hashtag, I think, was I'm too much for these streets. That's what it said. I'm too much for these streets, right? So she wants to do satellite radio instead of doing regular radio, because she's hashtag too much for these streets, because she has a mouth, right? So she wants to be able to say what she wants to say. And so she spoke about how when she's like in a room and she's talking, she was like, she might, she had a feeling that she wanted to tone it down because people are giving her looks and side eyes, and, she thinks that maybe she's too much. She was like, sometimes you need to turn it down. And I said, wait a minute, just think about this. This is who you are. You found your sweet spot, right? Like, I could be on here. I talk today. I love teaching, and I know I'm like getting loud and everything. I'm super excited and everything, but I'm in my sweet spot. I enjoy it. I don't care who's in the room. If you're in your sweet spot and this is what you're supposed to do, you feel it, and you found your sweet spot. You found a good place to be and what you're supposed to be doing. Do not allow people in the room. Once you notice people are looking at you strange, that's when you found your sweet spot. That's when your personality is really coming out, because you think about it. Oh, Karen's gonna come in. Great. If you think about it, have you ever been in an uncomfortable situation, but you kept going? I think that is something is so important for you to think about your personality. Do not allow people's looks and how they look at you and how they respond to you to really dictate your sweet spot and your personality, your true personality.
Mm-hmm. Now, welcome to the show, Karen. And where are you from, Karen?
Pennsylvania.
Pennsylvania. All right. So did you have a question or something to add to this discussion?
Something that I wanted to add, my experience in the workplace has been, I'm a very committed person, and I'm a very excited and a zealous person. And if there's something that I participate in, I give my 100%. But you ever meet those people who are so excited about being involved in something that whenever the teacher asks a question, they're the first one to raise their hand? I'm that type of person. When I participate in something, I give my all and all. I'm always the first one with ideas in the meeting. I'm always the first one, to have a question or to have some input or have some comment, and that worked in my benefit to some degree. But at the same time, I had to learn how to temper myself, because the other people in the room had gotten so comfortable with me giving so much that they was able to fall back, and it never pulled out the great things that they had to offer. Even though some of the things that I put on the table was always great ideas, but people would fall back because they was like, well, let Karen do it. All we're going to do is follow her lead. So what I learned in that is how to be a better leader, because a better leader falls back and allow other people in the room to be able to bring what they offer to the room. So that was difficult for me because I give so much and I commit so heavy into things that I'm involved in, and I'm so passionate about it. So I had to learn how to temper myself in meetings to allow other people to engage, to be involved, and to not look like a miss, know-it-all, or somebody who's just, always so hyped and crazy acting or whatever. And that was very hard for me because, that's just my personality. And, whenever I'm involved in something, I commit to it 100%, no matter what it is. So that's a difficult place for me because even now I'm at a new church and I have fallen all the way back because I'm coming from an environment where I was a women's ministry leader, and I'm coming from an environment where I was a pastor's wife. So I'm walking into a church and I'm sitting in the pew as a member, and it's very different for me, so I'm very standoffish because, I have so much experience and different things underneath my belt. When I go into different meetings and events and stuff that they're having, I don't want to bring all of my stuff to the table and appear to be overwhelming or miss know-it-all. But I'm coming, with experience and having already done a lot of things that maybe people that may be in a congregation have never done before. So it's different for me, but I'm learning a lot in it, learning how to fall back, and it's teaching me better leadership skills, how to, kind of sit back and let other people bring to the table what they know or what they don't know, and let whoever is in the room, along with whatever I offer, be able to pull the greatness out of the people that surround me. So I'm in a very uncomfortable place right now because I'm so used to being, involved. It's hard for me to fall back and just kind of be still and be quiet. And I'm very apprehensive to say, oh, these are the things that I bring to the table, because I've had experiences where people have pulled on me because I brought my gifts and talents to the table. And that became a problem because, it's so many things I'm pulling to the table versus the person who is coming to the table and don't really have a lot to offer. So I've been in some tough.
Oh, did she freeze?
Yeah, she froze.
Yeah, she froze. Yeah, and welcome,
Monty.
Spy Gap.
Welcome.
Oh, Monty, my bad.
No, it's the same person.
Who are not that vocal, and allow them. So, that's just my little piece. So if y'all can give me some insight on, what I can do in my situation as I'm learning how to temper myself and be a better leader, what other pieces of information or advice can you offer me in the position that I'm in right now?
Okay.
Go ahead, Kente.
No, I feel what she's saying because a lot of times, you're asking when to fall. Yeah, you can hear me now. You cut out for a little bit. Uh-oh.
Oh no, she froze. Yeah.
She has such a heavenly look on her face right now.
She's looking up.
If she can hear us, she could come back in.
So if what I'm getting from her question is, she's trying to figure out when she should fall back and let other people, go versus, oh wait, here she comes. Like, well, just.
Choppy, or am I coming clearly?
Okay.
Can you hear us?
You gotta love live radio.
I don't know. I might have to refresh if you
okay.
guys
Karen, are you there?
Is that better?
Yeah, we don't. There you go.
Okay, so I don't know if y'all heard my question, but my question
Much better.
was because I've always been an upfront and I've always been in positions where I've always been a leader. Now I'm in a new environment and I have to kind of fall back because now I'm the person in the pew versus the person on the pulpit. And it's a very uncomfortable place for me because I want to bring to the table what I have, but I'm so nervous because I'm so overzealous and I'm so excited about different things that this particular place offers, and I want to be involved.
Did she freeze?
Oh.
I think I understand. We understand what her question is.
So what advice can y'all offer?
Oh, there you go. You're back now.
In the situation that I'm in, that'll help me be able to adjust and merge myself in the right way without being so, I don't know what word to use, but being so super excited. I can't help it. I get excited about things that I'm passionate about, and ministry is one of those things that I am extremely passionate about. So whenever things are going on and I involve myself in it, I am just like so involved, and I'm learning how to temper myself. But what other pieces of advice could you offer me in this particular season that I'm in that's going to help me merge and not appear to be standoffish?
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
How long have you been in that particular position at that company? At the church.
I've been at my new church for, I'm going to say maybe about 5 months now. And when I first joined the church, I did let the pastor and his wife know, the environment that I was coming from. And I let them know that I'm just here to sit. I'm not looking to, rush up into anything right away. However, the members don't really know that. They don't really know where I'm coming from. They don't know anything about me. And so they're kind of pulling. And I'm like, okay, don't pull, because I'm already excited about some things I see, and I'm not ready to jump into anything. But when I do, I just want to know how to merge right. I'm a little standoffish because, I don't want to appear to be too much. You know what I'm saying? And so it's like I'm trying to figure out the middle ground.
Well, I'll tell you about my situation. I'm now I'm an employer, but I was an employee at a particular small company. And I went in there, which I typically do, like you're talking about. And I'm very ambitious, very determined. I want to run your company from day one. I want to tell you how to make money, save money, and do all sorts of different things as soon as I get into the door. That character trait is very good. Don't lose it. But remember this, right. That's an exceptional character trait. That's not the norm. So unfortunately, what you're looking at is a lot of people who are going to be put off by you coming in there. And within the first 5 months, you're probably quite capable of making this thing expand and grow, and whatever you're trying to accomplish. It's a good chance that you could probably do that. But the problem is these other people are probably there a lot longer. They've probably been there a lot longer, and they're probably moving at a slower pace. So you could come across as very intimidating to these people. And unfortunately, a new person coming in, taking over like that, you need the cooperation of the other people who've been there a long time, right?
Right.
But if they construe you as a threat, so to speak, they're not going to want to cooperate with you very much. As a matter of fact, they may sabotage what you're trying to accomplish. So if I were you, and this is what I learned, 1, keep that character trait, but 2, temper it down substantially so that you can actually learn how they operate, where you're going to fit in, what you can contribute. Because, see, sometimes these organizations may not be capable of growing at the rate or doing certain things at the pace that you want. You know what I mean?
Right.
But if you temper it down and just hold back, probably 6 months, 12 months, and just see how things go. See if is it the type of firm that you could actually make a change, and where that they're going to be adaptive to it and receptive to it. It may not even work if you gave them all these ideas, because they may be moving at a slower pace. So that's my 2 cents.
I think that's excellent, because we all know how people, even in your situation, it's kind of hard to adjust and adapt to change, right? And like you said, Monty, when you're dealing with ministry, first of all, ministry have a lot of old traditions, right? And even if you see how the church is really transitioning right now, they're not, a lot of churches like here in Charlotte, they're not doing just getting that building fund and expanding their building. They're having church in high schools, right? And they're setting up, church in high schools, and they're broadcasting from one location, but they're setting it up in high school, so they're able to have multiple campuses and reach multiple people. So that's foreign to a lot of different ministries. So there's so many changes that's happening in the church right now. So when it comes to change, and you have some of the older people, like Monty was saying, when you have some people that have been doing it a certain way for so long, and people come in and try to change things, it's very hard to be receptive to that.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And church is all about hierarchy.
Oh yeah.
It's also all about it can be very cliquish as well. And when somebody new comes into the situation, the first thing is like, wait a minute, you just got here and you trying to, mess with what we've done since 1800. Nat Turner used to preach at the church.
And one of the funny things
see audio.
that I encounter is, and one of the things that I encounter is when I bring things. Can y'all hear me?
We can hear you, but we can't see you. But that's fine. We can hear you.
One of the funny things is when I bring things to the table.
I can see it.
Sometimes I'm bringing things to the table, in my opinion, on a smaller scale. But they'll grab onto the stuff, and then it gets to the point where when I fall back, somebody will say, "Well, Cameron, what do you think?" And it's like, "Oh my God, don't pull on me because you're calling out my passion. You calling out my passion. Don't pull on me because because I'm passionate about it. I'm going to give it to you." And then, like, I seen somebody type in there about being proactive. I am a thinker, so I'm always thinking.
Well, I think you're froze. When you're talking about ministry, this is a little different from. But I see, Monty, you were able to really tie it together with employees and workforce. But one of the things I would suggest to you, Karen, is really sit down and spend some quality time and some alone time with God, and really sit back and ask him, what season do you have me in right now? What season do you have me in? You know my gifts. You have given me my gifts. So what is it that you want me to do here in this season? How do you want to use me? And allow him to speak to you, and listen, and then follow through, be obedient to that. And I mean, because ministry is a whole different beast. When you're talking about ministry, you're talking about your own personal relationship with God and where he's placing you and how you're really affecting a ministry. And you never know. You have to speak with God and find out what is really your purpose here in that spot right there, where you might be excited, you might be ready to go, but like Monty said, maybe this church might not be receptive, or just sit back and look how they operate, and then you will be able to learn how you can effectively communicate some changes within the ministry, and then it will lift up God's kingdom, because it's not about anybody, it's about God. So if you're able to effectively communicate these changes, then it will uplift God. It will glorify God, because that's what it's about, right?
Well, one thing I find when it comes to a lot of churches, a lot of them, I don't want to say all churches, is like we were talking about the hierarchy, right? It's almost like the mafia in a way.
I need some more coffee on that one, Lord.
When I first
came, well, I mean, it really is. It's like you got to find out. You gotta, go ahead. I'm sorry. Karen, you were cutting in and out. Uh-oh. All right, we'll have Karen come back in. But just come back in, Karen. But what happens is people control a certain area of the church, right? And they enjoy those positions, and they want things to be funneled through them, right? And when someone starts upsetting that, when people start upsetting that, they get very territorial, because positions are they take great pride in it. So when they feel like somebody's coming for them and they are a potential threat, then a lot of times they do things to protect those things. I know it sucks because it's a church. It's supposed to be about the Lord.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, it's like any other place. There's office politics when it comes to church. And, so you can actually use what we're talking about when it comes to, in the, business situation or whatever, and apply it to the church because in a lot of ways, churches are businesses, like I said, do ear hustling, keep your eyes open, see who the players are, see who Mama so-and-so is, and, and all of that. And the funny thing is when you first go to a church, they always want to put you to work. You notice that? They want to when you first come to a church and you show interest in it, they want to put you on the usher board. They want to put you on the in the choir, missionary, and all of that stuff. But then again, if you try to do too much too fast, then they're looking like, what's their agenda? So it's kind of a double-edged sword. So what I would do is, do a lot of see who the players are, and see how you can fit in. And it's unfortunate that you have to do that in a church setting. But like I said, people are people, right? And these are people. These people are not, these are the same people you're going to be working with. These are the same people you're going to be at the club with. You just happen to be with them at church. So treat it that way.
I started to see a career coach because
you're freezing.
It's the devil. The devil, it does not want
the devil is a liar.
Speak. We need to do a prayer. Is there a minister
can say a word or two? Come on, say a prayer.
I know. Please pray for Sister Karen's computer. We need the Holy Ghost. Jesus.
Go ahead.
Because I came in a little bit late, and I noticed the title talks about it talks about entrepreneurship and employee perspective as well. And this is my concern because I'm kind of old, a little bit older, and once upon a time, you went to work in the company, almost told you that you were going to be here forever as long as you do your job and put in your 8 hours. And then we saw corporate America make a transition to where they started to really crack down on how to save money and all of this other stuff, how to outsource jobs and all that stuff. And then it became very, very difficult to really maintain a good job. So it seems like we're faced with at least the people who work in the 9-to-5 thing, they're faced with a different type of situation where they really have to be careful about investing too much and as far as thinking that employer is going to keep them on forever. And I'm wondering whether or not we need to view our jobs, if I were an employee, I need to view my job as an entrepreneur would view their position. And you know what I mean?
That's a short-term solution to your current money issues.
What part do I really play at this company? And if it didn't work out, what could I take with me in terms of what I'm learning and apply it somewhere else? Because if I get kicked out of a job for the 10th time, eventually I'm going to say, you know what? I need to. Maybe I'm not learning my lessons at these jobs. Maybe I have a valuable skill, but they're not respecting me. They're not compensating me appropriately for it. Does that make any sense?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Right. My suggestion is always when you get a gig, always keep your eyes open for the next gig, because there's nothing is guaranteed, and a lot of times, I have this big thing about signs. There are signs out there that will tell you in life where you should go, and we ignore them. We ignore these signs, and there's a lot of signs out there that your job is just not that into you. And a lot of times, by the by the time you realize it, it's too late. So you got to be ahead of the game, ahead of the curve.
Another thing is you got to be ahead of the curve on how companies are being run nowadays. Okay,
right. Exactly.
Back in the day, I keep saying I'm getting a little older. I'm not old, but I'm getting a little older, right? And so back in the day, man, you could work for a company. You're going to get a pension. You're going to get benefits. You're going to receive these things after working 20, 30 years for a company. Companies no longer have longevity, okay?
No,
Companies are not trying to be in business for 100 years anymore. You have to move along with the way things are being run nowadays. So that being said, what is your goal, okay? What is your goal, And so, like Kente was saying, that's just hopping off of what you just said, Kente, you have to be very just open to moving and taking what you, like I said, every assignment that you're on, it's so important to take what you can from that assignment and learn. That's why I said it's so important for your work ethic. So Monty, that's what we taught. We started off talking about your work ethic. You gotta be stellar at every single assignment because you're taking those skills. If you have an opportunity to learn something, if you have an opportunity to get more training while you're at this position, do it. All right. Okay. And it's so important to do that because that's only going to enhance. So for all the people that said that's not in my work description, right? But guess what? There could be a position out there that has that exact skill set that you said that it wasn't in your work description, is not in my job description to do, that you could have learned that skill and took it to the next position and made more money. You see what I'm saying?
Very, very good. Very good. I'm gonna drop out, but I think you guys hit it right on the head in terms of what I was thinking in terms of what the realities are.
Right.
Because that's very important because I think we tend to think that we're selfish now as employees when we think about the short-term focus. But as you pointed out, if the company itself is not as long-term focused as they were way back when, then I better figure out quickly that, I'm like you said, if they give me 2 or 3 jobs or different things that I'm learning and doing, maybe I better go ahead and try to embrace as many as possible because if it doesn't work out, now I got these other skill sets that you paid for, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Yes, that's right.
Thank you, Monty.
Also, too,
okay, I'm gonna go
another thing that happens is companies.
But that's a very good blab, and I'm gonna look at it, put it on the big screen so I can listen to you guys.
Thank you, Monty.
Very good job. Thank you, guys. Keep up the good work. All right.
Also, too, companies get sold all the time. So you may have a great relationship with the current ownership, and then all of a sudden they sell it to somebody else, and then they don't always keep everybody, and then things change. They shuffle things around. They say, well, you had this job, but we're going to move you over to here. That's if they don't let you go in the beginning. So there's so many variables too that you got to keep on the lookout for. But one thing also too, you want to save. To have a nice savings is always good because you want to parachute. Because God forbid you find yourself without employment, you do want to have some money that can help get you through tough times. Or if something comes about in your life, like your car breaks down, your kid gets arrested, whatever it could be, you want to make sure you have a little nest egg to dip into to help with those kind of things. And I know it's so hard to do that, because you need your money to live. But if you can find a way to sock away $20 a month, I would do more than that. But
I talked to my best friend about this the other day, and I said this. I've been working for a while. Like I said, I'm not old, but I'm not young anymore, right? So I've been working for a while, and most of us here in this chat have been working for a while. And so you cannot say, somebody, but I'm struggling, I'm living paycheck to paycheck, but you cannot tell me from the lifespan of when you started working to where you are now that you've never been in a place of surplus. Okay? So if you've been in a place of surplus, that means, what did you do with your money? What did you do with your money during the time of surplus?
Tricked it off. You tricked it off. You you turned up in Vegas. You went to the strip club. That's what happens.
You in the
Unfortunately,
bars, strip clubs, man. Where have you been, Kente, this week? Out in LA, and you trying to tell me? I'm just
I don't do strip clubs. I don't. I'm too. I love my money too much to throw it away.
Good.
So
you have a question?
I like naked women, but I just don't want to pay to see them. So let me clarify that. It says, Xanadu wants to know what are our feelings on people not having Plan Bs because it takes from Plan A. Yeah. So I'm assuming she means like it's hard to.
He's saying like.
Are you talking about?
He's saying like there's been many people, especially famous people, that says having a Plan B is not an option because that means that you're not even fully laser focused on Plan A. So Plan B is not even an option. So she's saying, how do you feel about having Plan Bs?
I don't believe. I don't believe that. I believe contingency plans are always good. I always like covering my tail. So, I always think positively, but I always think that there is a chance that things may not go the way that I want. So having a Plan B or having an out or what they call a golden parachute is key because it allows you, it gives you more freedom too, because if you have a Plan B, then maybe you will take chances to get more success because you have somewhere to fall back to. If when you get to a situation where if Plan A don't work, I'm gonna be on the street corner,
I look at
doing
it,
whatever,
slightly different in the same sense, but slightly different. Once again, everybody has something to say, right? And then when you have Plan A, why can't you have caveats of Plan A, right? So it's the same thing, right? Instead of just saying Plan B, you have caveats of Plan A. So like you have a contingency off of Plan A. You have another contingency off of Plan A. And that might be considered Plan B, C, D, and E, but you have to have some type of contingency. When just like, okay, I love HGTV. I don't watch it anymore, but when he has a budget, right? In that budget, he has a contingency budget as well. So just in case when he opened up those walls, right? And just the floodgates open and they're dropped $20,000 on something that you didn't plan on happening, right? It's a contingency. So I think it's the same thing. So I don't think one way or the other. You have to know what you want, lay it out perfectly. Well, I know that's not, perfectly, but lay it out so that you can understand it. Only you know your vision, right? Only you know what you want to do. Only you know you can set your goals. That's personal, okay? And so having a Plan A, B, C, D, that's on you. But make it work.
It cracks me up when people say I don't plan for anything because I like to take things as they come, and I like I like just for it just to happen off the cuff and all of that stuff.
That's for like a weekend during bike week. That's
bike week. I got to check out this bike week. You keep talking about
Day weekend.
I have a feeling though you get in trouble. At bike week.
I have fun.
Well, you have the halo up here, so.
It is 10:35. Wow. So I mean, what's that?
Oh, so you want me to do the quick the shout out? And
I can't believe it's 10:30. Because I could talk about this all night, and I taught today, so I'm super hyped. I am hyped. So I really enjoyed it tonight.
Before I butcher some names, I want to take this moment to this day in history for May 20th. We go to the year 1743, and Toussaint Louverture was born. The Haitian revolutionary. That was his birthday, so it was in 1743. And if you want to learn a great story of rebellion and the Haitians revolt against the French, definitely look it up. Let me put his name in the chat for you to see. Here you go. There we go, and it's in our show notes as well. All right, so let's do our shout out. Of course, it's me and Kiana's here. We have LaShonda. We have Brother Monty. We have Yvette is in the house. We have Gerald, Curtis, Jacob, Karen, who was on just a little bit ago, Larissa, and of course the one and only Xanadu. And Smoky Mountain just came in. How you doing, Smoky? And I want to give a quick shout out to the one and only Xanadu. I am wearing her shirt that I picked up a couple of weeks ago. Check it out. She has some really good stuff on her website, and she can put the link into the chat room. I think it's very important for us to network and support each other, when we have things to promote and such. It's a very nice shirt, feels really good, nice material. So definitely want to go ahead and pick it up. So you can get it at get it.Xanadu Zone. So big shout out to Xanadu, who's in our chat.
Thing. All right. Mm-hmm.
So now you started to say something before I rudely interrupted.
I don't remember, but I'm just excited for no reason. That's just how I am. Sorry.
Oh, I like that though. I like that, because we talked about, people who are just not happy, their work week or whatever's going on in their lives, and people will have some real serious reasons why they are. But it's happiness is very important. You don't want to live your life miserable all the time, and so I think it's I like the fact that you help people regain that or gain it in the first place, because some people don't have it at all. So your job's supposed to be obviously something that provides you income, but also it's supposed to be something that it shouldn't be going to the gallows every day. You know what I'm saying? So, and I know I've seen many people who look like they're about to go to the gas chamber, and then Friday come and they're happy, and then when Sunday they're like, it starts winding down, and then it's like Sunday night, and it's like, I gotta go to work Monday, and and then I think what they say, and then Wednesdays what's the hump day, it's like, oh, the weekend's not here, So going to work, walking the Green Mile.
Right.
Hilarious.
I do want to say, wearing purple today to support lupus. So it's Lupus Awareness Month, and Kente. So Shonda, I don't know if Kente said that he did a blab earlier this week on lupus.
No, it wasn't a blab. It was just a podcast. My bad.
Just a podcast. Sorry. Just a
My
podcast.
bad.
So LaShawanda, he did a podcast on lupus. So if you guys do not know, just look up lupus, get a little bit more information about it. It is Lupus Awareness Month, so that's why I'm wearing purple. My Fitbit is purple anyway, so I'm always wearing purple, but I love to support as well. So yes, that is the show. That is really, I really appreciate you guys coming out, supporting on this topic. We did not have a guest today, but I thought this, be fun. Kente suggested it, and so I had a blast. You guys really came in and really contributed, and I'm just super duper excited. Oh, there you go. I'm super excited, for no reason. I am. That's just how it is. How it is.
I love it. All right. So how can people get you in social media and such?
Ooh, you can find me at Happy Work Week on Twitter, on Pinterest, Tumblr, happyworkweek.com. Across the board, every week I say it, Happy Work Week, right? And Kensei, please tell.
You can't. Oh, sorry. You can't be the Happy Work Week person and be sad all the time. So I love it that you are smiling and everything. So that wouldn't be a good look.
It's so important for your spirit. I'm just saying, it's so important for your spirit to just embrace yourself, embrace who you are. So yes, but yes, across the board, Happy Work Week, right? If you can't say, please let everybody know how they can get in contact with you.
Sure. You can follow me at KenseiF, and you can go to indyradio.org. That's indyradio.org. And you can, get all the podcast information as well as the blabs that we do at indyradio.org. Programming note, hey, big shout out to Tracy Reddy, just came in the chat. Next week, we will be joined by the one and only Amira Kwali, and we're going to talk about the importance of activism. I'm really excited about this, being someone who came from an activist family. So we're going to chop it up with Amira, and we'll also talk about the things that, other things that she does as well. And we'll talk some spirituality as well, but definitely we're going to talk about activism. And then also, so the following week, I think we said once before, we're going to be on that Wednesday, which is the 1st of June instead of that Friday. And on the 10th, my good friend Teresa King will be on. And Teresa is going to be starting a blab that will air right after hours, starting on the 17th. So she's going to come on and talk about her new show, which is called Teresa King Speaks. And she's going to have a lot of great guests and a lot of goodness, too. So definitely you want to check those things out. You guys have a great and happy weekend, and God bless.